Welcome back to another Titan Bros video. A rare victory video where the Titans takedown is such strong language for a 17-10 game, but Titans take down the Panthers, the aforementioned 17-10. Titans remain perfect at home and imperfect away from Nissan Stadium. Welcome in. It's gonna be a fun one.
Yes, that's true. I would say today was what I did not want to do. I said I either want us to blow them out where we feel good about our young players like Will Levis, or I want us to lose where we just help ourselves with a better draft pick. But instead, what did we do? We got a ugly win. If we were still in the thick of the playoff race, a win's a win, and then you're like, hey, we'll take it. But when the season's basically over when it comes to wins and losses, and we don't care anymore. It's all about seeing our young players play well, and I don't know if they really did today. They did all right, but it's just we won. We barely beat a 1-10 team now, so it's like how impressive really was that we beat them by a touchdown.
And it's really only because our offense just quit scoring points because I never felt threatened by their offense. And in the end of the game, they only ended up putting up 10 points. So I think the real issue was the fact that we scored 17 points in the first half, which is really good. That's on pace for 34 points. But then the fact that we got shut out in the second half, and that was one of the demons that we had last year, was doing little or nothing in the second half. So I can remember there were two games in a row. I think it might have been the Raiders and the Commanders where we scored 24 points in the first half and get shut out the second half and barely won both those games. Which at this point maybe we shouldn't have won them, so we would have drafted CJ Stroud instead of Will Levis. But anyways, we're not going to talk about that. But anyways, yeah, I think our offense of play calling went way too conservative, and when we're up 17 to, was it 3 at one point? It's like we're up 17-3. Let's just run it. Maybe we'll throw it on third down. And that's kind of what our whole second half game plan was. Like he threw it some, but not a lot. I feel like we just weren't that interested in scoring any more points. It's like we just thought 17 points was enough, and that the Panthers weren't going to score that many points.
And I think in the second half we went 3 and out too much because there was too many times. Well, if you look at Henry, he only ran the ball 16, 17 times. I feel like it was
18 times is what it was.
18 times. So it's not like we ran him a lot, but then we didn't throw that much. I feel like, especially in the second half, because he threw the ball 28 times, but I think the majority of that was the first half.
Yeah, I think he was like 17 maybe pass attempts in the first half, so it was like 11 in the second.
But I feel like our offense is shut down against
we didn't really
daunting Panthers defense.
Yeah, we didn't really score or make many first downs at all, so it's not like we ran or threw the ball too much in the second half. So, but let's just go ahead and just jump into some positives. Let's talk about offense first. I like the fact that we started with 17 points in the first half. We failed the second half offensively. But it was nice to see Derrick Henry have I'm not even as worried about yards. I'm happy to see him have over 4 yards a carry, and he found the end zone twice.
Yeah.
So I would say that was, if I was giving grades out, that was a B+ performance from maybe A- because he did have 2 touchdowns. Maybe an A- performance from the old King. I like to see that. We'll talk about Will Levis later. D-Hop still being D-Hop. Just 3 catches, but 3 catches, 49 yards. Just doing what he's doing to be right there on the verge of a 1,000-yard season. I'm liking D-Hop. Chig actually came to play a little bit. He had the tied with most receptions and the second most in yards. So he had 4 receptions for 45. He didn't drop any, which is the big thing for him. Nick Westbrook-Akina, I thought he was doing some good snags. So the one was a nice toe drag swag catch. Chris Morris is continuing to be our explosive guy, our 30-year-old dude coming in here being an explosive playmaker on offense. But Chris Morris still doing solid. Nobody else really had anything to complain about. You got any thoughts you want to talk about the offense? Because I gotta let you talk a little bit because I'm jabbering.
Offensively, I mean, the first half was good, like you said. Second half, not so much. I think Chris Moore being our explosive guy is I'm happy he's doing well, better than I thought. But to me, it's a clear sign that we need some more receivers in here because This guy who's not been very good in his career, who's 30 plus years old, should not be our only explosive guy. We need some more explosive weapons in here. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we are not going to be taking advantage of Will Levis' strength, which is the deep ball with this receiving core.
I think basically Chris Moore is stepping in what Traylon Burks was supposed to be.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
we're giving him end arounds, we're giving him deep balls, deep crossers, all those kind of things that's supposed to be Traylon Burks' cup of tea, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, someone's got to do it. So Chris Moore's doing good for his veteran minimum contract and being 30 years old. But I would much rather be Burks out there making plays. But
I would say, Derrick Henry did have a good average. It is just disappointing. We can't get 100 yards rushing anymore against this defense that was awful pass defense and rush defense. My bad. But we still couldn't get 100 yards. But he did get a 4.2 average, so that's good. Got 2 touchdowns, like you said. So I was impressed with that. But let me just say this: you know what I'm getting tired of, and this kills so many of our drives. And normally I like this, but we just don't do it well. Screens. Can we stop the screens? It doesn't work. It doesn't matter
screens
if it's don't
work for us.
It doesn't matter if it's Derrick Henry. It doesn't matter if it's Tajay Spears. It does not work. It is just not even a give up on a play, but normally it's a loss of 4 or 5 yards. And Kelly's calling so many of them. It's just a drive killer. I'm tired of it. Oh, but sorry. Do you have anything else to say that?
No, I mean, yeah, I agree. We need to quit doing screens. They never work.
Yes, they don't for us. They work against us, but not when we do it. But one thing I was impressed. Now, Grant, I remember reading this out in our preview, but the Panthers are not a great pass rushing team. But I thought our offensive line actually did well. I don't say that much, but I would give credit where credit's due. He did do a penalty, and he did allow Will Levis to get decked one time, but I thought Duncan did pretty decent.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to jump into, but I was like, man, I've been talking for so long. I need to let him say something on this podcast. Brian Burns has a sack, and I'm looking through, and that's it. So Brian Burns, who I said we need to watch out for, did get a sack. It was early on, so I was like, uh-oh, this ain't good. So Brian Burns got the sack I expected, but I agree. Jalen Duncan played well, and if you really think about it, that gives us if Jalen Duncan is one game against a not great pass rush minus Brian Burns, but if he can be a serviceable league average left tackle next year for us or for years to come, one, that's a lot more money in our pocket because that's a very expensive position to pay for. And plus he's a 6th round pick, so he'll be dirt cheap. It'll be one less need. Because at this point, I think most people have us going left tackle in the 1st round. Jalen Duncan has a possibility, an opportunity here to save us a lot of money, save us a high draft pick, and really make a name for himself, and honestly be one of the big thumb ups of Rain Carthon's career if he can find a starting level left tackle in the 6th round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would help us a lot if we can find that, like you said. Now it's one game against a crappy team, but he passed his first test. Let's just say that.
Yeah, like if I was giving him grades, I would give him, if he was just like a 5-year vet, I'd give him a C+. But being a rookie in his first start, who's been inactive most weeks, I would give it a B-, a B, maybe even a flat B. The sack, did he allow the sack? That was actually Radens who allowed it.
That was Radens, yeah.
So honestly, I might just give him a straight B.
Well, he did, and he got the ball off, and it was a float over ball. But he did let almost a clear shot right to Will Levis one time.
Which honestly, if that wouldn't have happened, that might have been a touchdown by Chig.
Yeah,
because he had to really slow down to snag the ball, which I'm just happy he caught it. But
that was a good drive by Will Levis. That drive, Will Levis was dealing, but he never really kind of recaptured that magic after that.
No, but yeah, I agree that one there, he was really had it going on. But yeah, I agree. So Jalen Duncan, he's a bright spot because again, we said at this point we don't care as much about the wins and loses. It's about seeing young players to see if they can grow or if they can fall flat on their face so that we know we can't depend on them next year. So Jalen Duncan trending the right direction. Let's go ahead and before we move to defense, let's talk about Will Levis for a second. And I'm so confused about Will Levis. I know he's a 2nd round guy. I know he was inactive most weeks of the season. And I know this is his 5th start. I feel like I think he won his first one, then lost 3 in a row. Now I just won again. I feel like I am just so in the middle on him.
Which is what I didn't want to be.
Which is what I didn't want to be. Because, yes, if he was just awful and we basically lost out and we had like the 3rd overall pick, I would very much be Drake May. That's who I'd be going after. If he was just good,
then that's our
or
guy.
better, then yeah, that's our guy. Just go for it. But the fact that like this is the third game out of his 5 starts, 3 of his games he didn't throw a single touchdown. But then I also stop and think, but he's not doing bad. He's only got 2 picks in 5 games.
Yeah.
Doing that, we just said, 5 games. 5 games, 2 picks. That's good. Those drop picks every single game. But anyways, but I'm just like, so I want more. And the fact that we only scored 6 points and then 14 points and then 17 points, that's not good. But then I also feel like, but he's not that bad. But then that always makes me feel like I remember saying these exact same things with Jake Locker and Zach Mettenberger, Marcus Mariota, where it's like, it's not all his fault. Yeah, the offensive line's bad. He has no talent around him. So, he could work. Like I did that for so many years with those quarterbacks. But I feel like Will Levis is basically being the same way.
Yeah, I feel that. And what's confusing about him is he can make some beautiful throws. He can make some outside, zip it right to those several throws he made. Impressive.
That I'm just like,
I'm like, that looked like an NFL quarterback would throw. But then he skips a lot, like for no reason. It's just like a yard too short. It just hits off the ground. I'm like, what was that?
Yeah,
I don't get that.
I agree.
Now, granted, I thought D-Hop could have did a better job of tracking it and stopping. But that bomb he did throw it a little behind. He missed him on that one. So he has a lot of throws he misses. He's like, what was that? And then he has some throws that looks like a thing of beauty. So.
Yeah. Now this could be good or bad, but one thing about him is he ain't scared of anything.
Yeah, and
he'll just chuck it around. I agree because Mariota's last couple of years he was safe, very very safe, which means not explosive. And then Tannehill's last year he was safe, not very explosive.
Scared we're just gonna coach that out of him, but we'll see. Because I think Will Levis will always be a strong arm, but maybe not the most accurate quarterback. So if you take away his deep threat, then you're kind of just saying. Now we're just going to take away your good parts about your game, and now we're just going to have you miss a lot of easy throws.
So what letter grade are you going to give him for this game?
I'm going to give him a good old-fashioned C. C+, because he did not put the ball in anyone's hands besides that one screen that he faked it and kept on looking over there and threw it again when there's a Panther clearly looking at him and tracking it, and we should be happy that wasn't picked. Other than that play, I don't think he had any hit off defensive hands, did he?
He had one on a 3rd down or something, and I think it was like a stop route or a curl, and he just zips it real hard, and the guy comes diving in. Where he got both hands on it, but also would have been a diving interception, which would have been amazing. But I was stuck between a C+ and a B- because, again, it's hard to give a B- when you only do 17 points and you don't throw any touchdowns. But like you said, he was generally safe with the ball. He had some nice throws as well. I'll probably go down to C+.
The thing about him is, why I would give him a C is I just feel like there's some plays that you just like, that was good. And then every game he has some plays like, that was bad. And so it's just like, it's a mix of stuff. And that's kind of annoying because, like you said, you just don't know how you feel. Every week I'm like, I could have seen more, but it could have been way worse, at the same time. So it's.
We could have just kept throwing 4 touchdowns and 0 picks every game. I'd have been fine with that.
I just wish he had a better receiving core. I would say that, and better blockers. But today, you can't blame the blocking.
That's it. Yeah, that's what. I'll be honest with you. We had a Thanksgiving party at our house today, so it was very distracting atmosphere.
Speaking of which,
I'm sorry. Speaking of which, we have this right here. Say hi.
No, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So you can't talk right now because I'm recording. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So it's a very distracting atmosphere today. So I maybe missed some details, but I'm kind of trying to figure out if Derrick Henry averaged over 4 yards a carry, if Will Levis really wasn't that bad, why did we get shut out in the second half?
I just think there's just too many drives that we would throw a screen that would lose us 4 yards, and then we would be just behind the chains. And then I'm
thinking that's what it is because we didn't do many penalties. Dylan Radins, offensively. Dylan Radins had a couple at the beginning, but we're talking about the second half right now. And we only allowed 1 sack, and that was also in the first half. So I guess that's what it was.
I think we're still just not explosive enough. And when we get behind the chains, it's just a drive window. And so we can make a first down moving a little bit, but as soon as we did either a penalty, which we didn't do much of, or what we did today, screens that lost 3 yards, then all of a sudden it's just game over, drive over. Punt the ball.
Here's just a bigger conversation issue that we're not really going to get into today. But I feel like one issue with the Titans is I feel like instead of trying to move down the field, we're trying to get to that yellow line. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, instead of being like, let's move this ball down the field and go score some points, Roland was like, all right, there's 10 yards right there. We got 3 plays to get to that line. And that's all they're like focusing on.
We're
like,
not trying to. Well,
it's like, it's possible on a first down, just I'll throw a 14-yard crosser around the middle of the field, I don't know.
Yeah. I just feel like, again, real quick, just back to Will Levis. I just feel like there's so many plays he missed that would stall drives. But one thing I liked about him, there was also some strikes he could do, like 15, 20 yards. There wasn't like little dump offs that he would just boom, zip it in there. I'm like, that's a good play. I like the play to get us in field goal range right before the half.
Yeah,
it's
NWI.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play. Beautiful job by him getting us in position to kick that field goal. And sadly, that's all she wrote offensively, 17 points.
If they had it done, that would have been a nerve-wracking game when it would be 10-14 and they kept getting the ball.
But it's just that was a good play. One thing is, I think Kelly's play calling is getting worse. Like, he keeps taking the ball out of Levis' hands, and I don't like that. Now, the drive before that, he basically just made us run 2 times, remember? And then Levis, I don't remember what he did on third down, but it was just a bad coaching. I wish he would just let Will Levis play. If he wins or lose, who cares right now? We're 4-7. We suck. So let Will Levis play.
I agree. I think we just need to just spread them out and throw it around a little bit more than we do. I'd be completely happy with that. That's all I got to say about the offense. Defensively, I think this was our best defensive, either this game or against the Bengals, our best defensive performances of the season. We terrorized the quarterback. We should have had him a few times that we didn't, but we did have him just running circles back there for a while.
We did.
I feel weird saying this, but I think our secondary actually played well because there were either that or Bryce Young doesn't trust his arm, because there were a lot of times where he would stand there, roll to the right, spin around, roll to the left, just running around, keep his eyes downfield, and he just never could find anybody to throw it to. Like, the only times those plays turned to be anything good is when he'd actually just keep it and scramble.
Yeah. Defensively, I feel like we did fine. I still do too many penalties. We still just do too many penalties, especially on third downs. So that's a thing of concern. But it's hard to knock a defense that allowed 10 points. Granted, it's the Panthers who don't score many points anyway, no matter who they play against.
Yeah. But it was nice to see Arden Key get a sack for the first time since week 1 of the season.
Yeah.
Danico Autry, we're gonna miss him when he's gone.
Yeah.
Because he gets a lot of sacks. He's sitting at 8 sacks on the season. He still has 6 games left, so he's probably gonna break double digits. And remember I think maybe in the first drive, either the first drive or second drive, remember he blew up a run play for like a 3 or 4 yard loss. Remember that?
Yes, he did. And I thought Autry, Simmons flashed a lot, both of them. Not just with sacks, which Simmons got 1, Autry got 2. Run stopping, they both did that well. And then just plays that just ran the ball. They put
pressures and whatnot.
I just feel like those 2 flashed a lot. Who's quiet to me? I want to see more is Harold Landry. It's time.
Yeah, he started coming on there for a while. He had like a 3-game stretch where he had 3 sacks, but I think now he's gone maybe 2 games in a row with no sacks.
And he didn't flash near as much on my screen. I didn't see him put as much pressure as Simmons and Autry. Christian Fulton, still don't love him. He still, I said he did a penalty. He still got targeted a lot. Don't love him. But yeah, that's what I.
Yeah, I think our front 7 was good. I still think Bunting is pretty good. Hooker, I think, is still pretty good. I still don't like
Molden and Fulton. Those 2,
Molden and Fulton. They're just Molden should be depth. He shouldn't be a starter.
Depth piece. Fulton's gotta go.
Get him out of here. And I guess that's really all there is to say about the defense.
Real quick, I'll say this though, real quick. One thing we can critique and say we need to do better is tackling. Our tackling is awful. Not just missed tackles, which we do that, but when we do tackle, they drag us for 2 or 3 yards.
I do agree.
I don't get that.
There are a lot of 2-yard runs where we hit him, and then no matter who the running back is or who we're going against, but they just kind of drag us and make it like a 5-yard gain.
Yeah. There was several times today where we get whoever the running back is like 2 or 3 yards before the first down. So in my head, I'm like, okay, not a first down. And they just kind of push them through it. And
or they'll do it on pass plays too, where it's like 3rd and 10, and the guy will do, like, for some reason, do a 7-yard curl, and they hit him, and he turns around to run, and we hit him, and he just pushes through like two
Yep.
guys. And I'm like, why are we so weak? We
Yeah.
have just like weak cornerbacks, or what is it? I don't know, but I do agree, which is such a weird thing for a Mike Vrabel offense, or not offense, but a defense. That's supposed to be a specialty. We might not be the strongest, the fastest, the most talented, but by golly, you're gonna feel like you got punched in the mouth when you play a Mike Vrabel team. I don't feel like that's it.
I think that's why we're 4-7. If you want me to be completely honest, we lost our identity.
Yeah, which is weird because Rand was kind of hired to bring in Mike Vrabel guys.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like, not saying the guys he brought in aren't good, but they're not these big, mean, and tough Mike Vrabel guys, which honestly might be a good thing because I think we need to get to where we can spread the ball around on offense a little bit. I think we need to get faster on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
So in the long run, that might be a good thing. But if Vrabel's trying to coach like we're big, bad, and strong, but the players aren't big, bad, and strong, they have other strengths, then that's just going to make it where we're, the Mike Vrabel / Rand Carthon relationship doesn't work out. So, all right. So overall, if you're just talking the overalls of the game there, as a Titans fan, I couldn't help but be happy when we won.
Yeah.
Like after we got the win, I'm all like I'm all happy and whatnot, and made some extra turkey, all excited. But at the same time, it fell into where we both said we did not want it to go. We either wanted to blow them out and feel good about it and see growth from our young players, or we wanted to lose because, we get some draft picks.
Yeah. Because technically, we lost that game. Panthers would be only one game behind us, so we could actually get behind them.
Yeah, we could. But at this point, I don't think the Patriots are going to win more games than us either.
Yeah, they look trash. Yeah. But sadly, because with us winning like that, we'll get closer to getting ourselves out of the top 10 picks.
Yeah, sadly. So. Yeah, because we have 4 wins now. We're 4-7.
Yeah.
Even though the Colts right now are, that with the Texans losing and Colts winning, Colts are in the playoffs and the Texans are out.
Wow. I would say this: our division looks good, except for one team. I'm not going to name what the team is.
Yeah.
But other than that, the other teams, all those teams are good enough to be the playoff teams. If you ask me, it's just it sucks because you know what? The rest of our games is mostly division games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we can help our whole team our whole division go to the playoffs.
Yeah, we sure can.
But anyways, so we won. That's great. I would have liked to beat them by more if we were gonna win. But a win's a win, and I just feel like sometimes you just gotta win just to know it's possible.
I guess
just to be morale for the team, if not for this year, going into next year. Like, because if we end up just going 4-13. These teams are going to have trouble buying into what Vrabel's saying and coaching and just, I don't know. So maybe if nothing else, that helped. I don't know.
I mean, I guess that's a positive way of looking at it.
That's the way I have to look at it because
it happened. So
because it happened. So it's not like it could change anything no matter what I say.
So next week's against Jaguars, right?
Colts.
In Nashville. Oh, Colts? Is it Colts? My bad. Okay. Colts.
Yeah, Jags ends the season. Yeah.
Okay. So it's against Colts. They beat us before, but that was in Indianapolis. You know how we do. Well, better at home than on the road, so we'll see how that game goes. But
with Tannehill as well,
yeah. So we'll see how that game goes. But again, I am not even sure if I want to win. I mean, if we win, it's not gonna be the end of the world because you can't help but want to win sometimes when you're a Titan fan. But again, I just want to see Will Levis look good. That's what I want to see. Win or lose, I want to see Will Levis look good. I want to see Duncan looks good. Do we have any defensive player? Sorry, go ahead.
Here's an opportunity.
Yes.
For Will Levis to show what he's worth. When we play against the Dolphins, they are going to put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
So Will Levis might get an opportunity to throw the ball 45 times because we're going to be like a score and a half behind from the get-go, basically.
Yeah.
So that might be a make it or break game, which I'm going to say right now, Jalen Ramsey's going to pick him off. But anyways.
I feel that too.
Yeah, but anyways, go ahead with what you're saying.
Yeah. Do we have a young defensive guy that we're like, let's see what he's got? Because we got Duncan and Will Levis offensively that we're like, I really want to see what those two have. Maybe Josh Riley, but he doesn't play enough. But yeah, defensively, it's not like we have a rookie or young cornerback, safety, edge rushers. Actually, that's the sad thing is we had a lot of older people.
I'm sorry, she's back.
You got slapped.
You gotta be quiet, okay? All right. Yeah, but yeah, I agree. I don't think we have anybody on defense that's young that we're like trying to evaluate. Kind of Rashad Weaver, but at the same time, he kind of got benched this season.
He's kind of a death blow. No one.
He played a little bit aggressive today, but maybe who knows? Maybe him being inactive twice in the last 4 games kind of lit a fire under him. But yeah, I agree. We don't really because remember our whole draft class was offense.
Offense, yeah.
So we don't really have any young defensive players that we want to see. Maybe I'd like to see some Caleb Murphy out there.
I do want to see him actually out there. I don't know.
He's inactive. I don't think he's been active
yep.
yet.
Like he was great in preseason. I know.
I think he had a sack either he was 3 sacks. Actually, he has 4 sacks in 3 games.
Yes,
and that's not playing that much.
And that's the thing. I'm like, you can only beat the competition in front of you. But let's say he passed every test. College, destroyed it. NFL preseason, which I know is preseason, but that's probably a step above college, destroyed it. Now his next test is NFL regular games, but let's just say he's looked good in every single settings he's been in. So I would love to see him get a try.
Arden Key got a sack today, but he's still 2.5 sacks on the season. We're 11 games in.
Yeah.
And when has he ever made a play in the run game?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If nothing else, let him rotate a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree with that. I would be okay with that.
Yeah. So technically, as of now, where it stands, we do not have any defensive players to be keeping an eye on to see if they can make the next step. But yeah, Titans got a dub. Is there anything else that we need to say that's any way important that's not just looking to the future like we like to do?
We do like to do that. That's what you do when you're 4-7.
Sadly.
But no, I guess we covered everything. Talked offensively, talked defensively, talked I think that's about everything.
I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess we'll see y'all Friday night / Saturday morning when we do the preview of the Colts v Titans. See if Titans can stay perfect on the road. Nope. Stay perfect at home. Anywhere but the road. See if we jump up to 1-2 in the division, I guess, because we're 0-2 at the moment. Or what happens. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Comment. If you want to share it with all your Titans friends, do that as well if you have any Titan friends. So we can continue.
If you have any friends?
If you have any friends at all. See if we can grow the show, grow the conversation. That would be fantastic. That would be a whole lot of fun. So Titan Bros, I guess we are signing out of here, and we will see y'all Friday night and Saturday morning.
Peace out.